Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I am coming on to give a little bit of a download and kind of give a little direction of where we are right now. Maybe this message is for you. If it resonates with you, great. If it doesn't resonate with you, that's also great. It's important for you to be in your own authority and no matter who is giving you information to make sure that it feels right for you. Okay, so right now, in the collective or a large part of the collective, there is a lot of shifts and changes. There's kind of like this crossroads energy coming up. A lot of us are getting pushed to our edges, and it's important for us to know the power in that place, know the power of the crux, know the power of the crossroads, that when you get pushed to the edges and push to kind of these feelings of extremes, it's because you're about to burst that bubble. You're about to break the ceiling. You're about to really transform on such a large level. And as we continue on with this dragon year, this year has been a massively transformative year. Dragons are here to connect us into our limitlessness. And in order to be in our limitlessness, we have to see all the ways in which we've been limited. We have to see all the ways in which we've been in lack. We have to see how we're choosing and accepting things that we don't deserve, less than we deserve. Instead of begging for crumbs or just reaching for what's available, we're growing so that we can actually step into our full potential, our free will destiny, our full soul's passion. And that's going to take us really busting out of these containers that have been suffocating us and strangling us. So if you feel like you've been hitting an edge, if you feel like a lot has been coming up, we had a full moon with Pluto. If you feel like a lot's been coming up, it's coming up for us to acknowledge it, for us to feel it, and for us to transmute it. You're not going to be able to release what you are unconscious of. The unconscious programs will continue to run in the background until you become aware of it. And the awareness is going to also come with a feeling. You have to acknowledge it, you have to feel the unprocessed emotions, and that's the only way through. Sometimes it can be real crunchy, it can be really intense, it can be really raw, but it is the way through. It's how we release it out of the body. We're not just a floating head, we're also a body, and we have to release it out of the body. And anything that you did not get to process in the past, whether that's last night, your teenage years, your childhood, or a past life, you're gonna have to process it at some point. It's the way to transmute it, it's the way to release it. And I'm seeing kind of like this fork in the road right now where there are people who are really facing their shadows and people who are choosing to stay in denial. And the thing about denial is that it doesn't make it go away. Ignoring something isn't going to make it go away. Pretending like it doesn't exist isn't going to make it go away. Not talking about it, not looking at it is not going to make it go away. If anything, you are creating more work for yourself in the future. Because eventually, we all are going to have to face those shadow parts inside of us and outside of us. This is how we shift the world. This is how we transmute. This is how we create the life that we really want. It's not by ignoring, it's not by denial, it's about acknowledging, feeling, and transmuting. So I'm seeing there's kind of like people who are facing things and people who are ignoring, people who are wanting to break the patterns and people who are continuously living the patterns. And we all have a part in this. We all have a role and a responsibility to ourselves. And when you're able to tap more into your abundance, to your worth, you're not going to accept the same behavior, the same relationships, the same patterns as you did in the past. And that disrupts the program. That disrupts the program. And I know this can be challenging at times when you put up a new boundary and you say, hey, no more. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to accept your bad behavior anymore. I'm not going to allow this abuse to come to me. I'm not going to allow you to treat me bad. I'm not going to allow you to take from me and get nothing in return. A lot of us are going to have to shift and change our relationship, one with ourselves and with everybody else around us. And this is how we disrupt the pattern. Because once you do that, you say, hey, I'm not taking this anymore. And then you give it back to whoever is continuously doing that. And we each are responsible for ourselves in order to heal this. And also, we're responsible for the greater collective. And it's our duty to do this, because staying in these patterns, enabling people, people pleasing, it hurts both sides. You're saying yes to something that's hurting everybody involved. So I know that this work can be very intense, but it's the only way through. So there's a lot happening. We are preparing for the Lion's Gate, going from Sirius to the Lion's Gate. The Lion's Gate, I think, is going to be really extra this year. It's coming up soon. That place in the sky where the sun crosses into the Leo constellation. So we're preparing for this now so that we can create more of what we want to create. And we're in the rest of this dragon year preparing for the year of the snake. So we're staying in this dragon snake energy through 2025. Okay, so a huge thing that's coming up right now, as far as something that's wanting to really clear, or at least some very deep layers, clearing for the collective, is shame. So shame is a very dense substance. And if you've ever seen the spiral of emotions, shame's really at the bottom. And the thing about shame is that on such a fundamental level, it's really a waste product. And shame isn't really digestible, because shame comes in and it gives us this burden, this curse, and this lie. And many of us have been walking around for lifetimes, for generations, carrying this gigantic boulder of shame, coping with it. So many of us have all these coping mechanisms of how to continuously carry this curse, this burden of shame. Shame is not digestible. You can't digest a lie about yourself. It's not possible. All it does is clog the system or smush you. It really weighs you down. And in Chinese medicine, shame, the pattern that shame gives us is qi, sinking qi, qi sinking. Usually our spleen qi, but qi sinking. So it makes the qi very heavy. It sinks the qi, which can result in fatigue, chronic illness, lack of motivation, not even feeling very heavy. This also goes along with the pattern of dampness. So it creates sinking qi and it creates dampness. Dampness in the body can create edema, swollen ankles, swollen joints, digestive issues, phlegm, and too much edema and too much stagnation of water and dampness. The water will stagnate and it can create fungal problems, bacterial problems, really susceptible to viruses, even internal viruses created from the stagnant waters. So there's a lot that can manifest in the body when we try to hold on to shame for too long. And this is a reminder, if it's coming up, if you're feeling it, it's coming up to release. It's not coming up to torture you. It's not coming up for you to be paranoid about the future. It's coming up so it can finally get the hell out of your body so that you can make room for your soul to breathe, for your soul to come in, instead of feeling like these heavy weights are on you forever. And the thing about shame is that shame gives us the feeling that at our core level, something is wrong and bad with us. Shame makes you feel like you're bad. Shame makes you feel like you're dirty. Shame makes you feel like you're broken. Shame will make you feel like no matter what you do, it'll never be enough. No matter how much you invest, you'll never make it. You're either not enough, or you're way too much, or you oscillate between the two. Everybody else is going to get the golden ticket, but not you. No matter how much you work, you'll never have it. No matter how much you love, everyone's going to leave you. Okay, so if any of those things resonate with you, if you feel any of those things, that is a core wound of shame. And when it comes to shame, something happened in order for shame to exist. It didn't come out of thin air. You weren't born with shame. Something happened to you And that's how the wound of shame happened. If you've had any type of SA, I'm going to abbreviate it just because I feel like things get censored. If you have any type of SA, abuse, if you had any kind of SA, you automatically are going to have a really intense wound of shame. Doesn't mean you have to keep it forever, but it's going to be there. And shame is going to keep us trying to figure out why we are bad, why something's wrong with us. Like we're like mulling it over. We're trying to digest this thing that's never going to digest because it's not true. It's not a lie. You're not bad. You're not broken. Nothing's wrong with you. Whoever came to you to cause that shame, they're responsible for that. You are only responsible for processing the emotions that came after that. You're not responsible for figuring out why someone did that to you, because that is putting the blame on you. And that's what shame will feel like. You're blamed, like you're wrong, something's wrong with me, like all this shame, blame is going on you. So it's important to not be responsible. Don't take accountability for something that isn't yours. You have to put the blame where it needs to go. You need the accountability to go where it's supposed to be, because otherwise you're carrying around this weight. Now, yes, you, me, all of us are responsible for processing those unprocessed emotions, acknowledging and transmuting, but you are not responsible for the act that happened that caused the shame. Like if it was an SA act, you are not responsible for that. That was not your fault. That will never be your fault. You didn't do anything to cause that. You are not responsible for why that happened. You're only responsible for healing your body after that. So it's important to know, like, okay, like, for example, like I had a lot of abuse from both of my parents. It's my job to heal myself, but it's their responsibility for the things that they've done to me, especially when I was a child, okay? And this doesn't mean you have to live in resentment and live in anger. This is about just redistributing the energy patterns where they belong, so you don't have to stay connected in that forever. Because when you have shame, you're instantly connected into a lack pattern. It really affects your second chakra and creativity and bringing in not just what we need to survive, but what we can have to thrive. And it also will affect your throat chakra, because when you have a lot of shame and you think that at your core level you're bad or something's wrong with you, you're never going to be able to fully see yourself in the reflections. You're always going to say, oh, well, they have it, or maybe you'll compare yourself to other people. Maybe you'll be jealous because you're not able to see yourself in that reflection, because somebody else always has it. You never get it. You're always going to lose it, you know? And so it's a really powerful, I almost want to call it a substance. It's almost more than an emotion. It's an actual like substance that affects the body on so many levels. It's really important to face it and work through it. It's very important. Otherwise, you're going to stay in that lack forever. And we have a responsibility to ourselves to commit to our worth, to commit to our value, to commit to our power, to commit to our creativity. We owe ourselves that. It doesn't matter what anybody else says or thinks or does. We owe that to ourselves. It's our birthright to have worth and abundance and soul power. It's our birthright. And no one and nothing can take that away from you. We just have to remove some of the gunk in order to reclaim what's already there. You don't have to go searching for yourself. You're right here. Okay, so with all this said, I am hosting a 30-day container to release shame and reconnect back into worth, value, and creativity. It's kind of like we're moving some gunk out of the way and we're turning the wheel, and we're going to release the relationship that we have to lack and reestablish and reconnect the relationship we have to our self-worth. It's radical self-acceptance. It's not just accepting the parts that you like, it's also accepting the parts that happened. And yeah, if any of y'all know me out there, I'm not a surface healer. I love being in these containers where intensity comes up. I understand how it feels to process these deep emotions, but it's the only way through, and you don't have to do it alone. So, in this 30-day container, it's starting August 1st. It's daily support. So, you're going to be getting daily emails of different videos, informations, exercises, journal prompts, everything to really keep you committed. Really want you committed. This is where reestablishing a new pattern, a healthy pattern, a pattern that has to do with radical self acceptance, with worth, with abundance, with your value, with your worthiness. And we are moving away from that lack and that shame. Okay, so 30 days of emails really keeping you committed to the journey, committed to the plan, committed to yourself. 30 days daily support. Then we're going to meet 4 times over Zoom. So 4 group calls. And the group calls are going to be broken up to part of the group calls will be check-ins. So I'll give room for everyone to check in. Then I'm going to give a lecture of like how, I weave in astrology, Chinese medicine, deep trauma work, oracleness. So I'm gonna weave my magic together, and I'll give you a lecture, and then it'll be 30 minutes of interactive exercises, whether that's subconscious reprogramming, and journeying into the inner temples. There might be some EFT tapping. There's going to be different exercises for all 4 weeks. And then after that, after the class is over, I'm going to stay on extra for anybody who needs any extra support. So no matter where you are in your journey and how much you want to contribute, how much you want to be seen in this group is up to you. You can interact with me a whole bunch, or you can do everything more like in your individual like solitariness. I'm going to be available for people if they need me, but it's not, you don't have to speak if you don't want to. You don't have to share if you don't want to. You don't have to, I'm not going to make you do anything. This is a very like, what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. And you are going to know what is right for you. If you can't make the dates that I have for our group meetings, I am sending out the recordings to everybody. And if you need to have some support through email, I can do that also. So it's a 30-day container. It's going to start August 1st and be done at the end of August. Our first class meeting is on August 8th. So we will be going through the Lions Gate together. We will be traveling through the Lions Gate together. I have like a really special thing planned on August 8th. We're meeting every Thursday, the 8th, I think it's the 15th, the 22nd, and the 29th. Yeah, at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to go about an hour and a half, and I'll stay extra for the ones that like need some extra support. And yeah, I'm really feeling it big time. I'm feeling it big time. There is a huge chunk that needs to not leave just from our body, but from Earth. There's this huge like oppressive like layer of shame that really wants to leave out of all of us. And if it's coming up for you, it's coming out. I'm going to post the link to this group on Facebook. I'll post it underneath. On Instagram, I'm going to post it in my stories so that y'all can check it out. Again, it's starting August 1st. It's going the whole month of August, but our first class isn't until the 8th. If you have any questions for me, you can reach out to me in all the ways that you're connected to me. I'm going to offer this for the first 4 days at a really low rate of $222. Again, this is a whole month of support, and then I'm going to raise it to $333. And yeah, it's a very limited amount of spaces because there's, this container is going to be, I would think, probably fairly intense, because when we're working with shame, we're really working with some of the most vulnerable parts of ourselves. And yeah, I think that's all I have to share about this right now. I'm sending everybody a lot of love, a lot of blessings. These are transformative times. It's not going to stop being less transformative. Whatever we don't deal with now, we're just going to have to deal with later. If you don't deal with it in this life, you're going to have to deal with it in another life. So, if it's everywhere you turn and your guides are like, deal with the elephant in the room. Stop ignoring the elephant in the room. The time is now, and yeah, you don't have to do this alone. So I'll put all my links below. So much love and blessings to everybody out there. I hope you're having a great Wednesday, and I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye.